Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the first piece of content since the new year, and I hope 2023 is off to a great start. Today, we have the honor of speaking with the CEO of High Tide Resources Corp, trading under the ticker symbol HTRC on the Canadian Securities Exchange, Mr. Steve Roebuck. Steve, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Aleem. 2023 has started off great, and I am all fired up and keen to tell everybody about our great projects.
Happy to hear that. Let's kick things off with a brief description of High Tide and a brief introduction on yourself and your background in the mining space.
Sure. So High Tide's still a minty fresh company. Basically, we've been public now for about 11 months. So February 25th, 2022 was when we went public. We were private up until that point in time. Myself, I'm a mining professional, been in the business for over 25 years now. I've actually worked in the mines, underground mine geo, surface mine geo, exploration geologist, mine engineer. So I've got a lot of varied experience, which is really helpful as you start to progress and move up into the more senior roles. And now I'm, like you said, I'm actually the interim CEO of High Tide Resources, but I'm essentially a founder, director, and kind of got everything rolling on that front.
That's great. Steve, the portfolio of projects under High Tide are unique, diversified, and in all different stages, ranging from battery metals to high demand commodities. It seems like a great and unusual mix. Is there a particular reason or strategy behind acquiring these assets, and how did they come about?
We're businessmen first. That's a key component, is that you look at and plus I got all this experience and I can see things coming maybe a little bit better than when I was a little bit younger, and being more proactive than reactive. So the iron ore space is an incredible space. It's the biggest trade in the world. 93% of everything that was mined globally in 2021 was iron ore. And it's like I said, it's the biggest trade in the world. It makes up pretty well everything that goes into everything. So I saw that one coming a long period, because there was a long period of depressed iron ore prices, and I could see it, moving and trending upwards, coming off of historic lows. And these things are cyclical. So I positioned the company. I picked up a project with iron ore in Labrador, which is, and I'll talk about that more in detail as we go. The other projects, the Lac Pegma copper, nickel, cobalt, again, 26 years ago, I worked on it as a pup geologist. I had an opportunity, to acquire this project. I've been watching it for 20 years, wondering what's going on. The opportunity came up and I acquired it. And so I put it into the portfolio. So, and it's really proximal to where this Labrador West Iron Project is. They're within 75 kilometers of each other. So it really made sense to have critical mass in one area with two different commodities. The lithium, well, that was an interesting one, because again, friends who had projects, and I know a lot of people in the industry, they said, well, they're looking for a home for some projects. And I looked at them and I said, great location. And this is one of the key things, is that all the projects that we've got, nothing's out in the boondocks. Everything's proximal to infrastructure. And that is absolutely critical when it comes time to do more than exploration. As you want to develop things, you need to have that access to infrastructure, power, rail, ports, cities where you can get, mining supplies, drilling contractors, geos, etc. You want to be close to infrastructure. So I put this all together in High Tide, and here we go.
Let's go through these projects one by one. Steve, I want to start off with the Clearcut Lithium project. The location is exciting, and of course the early stages. There's no NI 43-101 yet, which brings a lot of anticipation and excitement to the market. And I'm sure my listeners would agree with that. Walk me through what the company is currently doing at the Clearcut Lithium project. I know prospecting recently commenced, and phase 1 is now complete.
Yep. Perfect. So let's go with, you said location, because this is just a common theme as I'm going to keep going at. This is about 75 kilometers southwest of Val d'Or, Quebec. And between Val-d'Or and Rouen, there's, I don't know, 10, mines in that area. So this is extremely well serviced by the mining industry. So you got everything that you need right there. And that is basically your gold copper belt is between those two towns, Rouen and Val-d'Or. To the south, you're getting into the sub-Pontiac region, which is a different geological domain, which is more to do with granites. And it's typically in the granites that you're finding these pegmatites, spodumene-bearing pegmatites, and this is where you're getting your lithium. So most geologists for the last 100 years walked right over it. Nobody paid any attention to it because everyone was looking more in the volcanic pile, which is where the gold is found. So this was, completely unevaluated. But we saw the opportunity, and taking a look at the Clearcut Lithium project. It's called Clearcut for one reason, is that it's been extensively logged. So that gives it a lot of the road network that the loggers used when they last passed through the area. So that's an amazing advantage to us in terms of, access and then driving around the project. It's 14,400 hectares. It's really large. So, having that as an advantage is huge. It's located 20 kilometers east of Sayona Mining's. One of their top exploration targets is just 20 kilometers to the west. So they figure they got about 5 to 25 million tons of 1.2 to 1.5% lithium right on their project. So, I mean, we're in the right jurisdiction. We got the right names around us: Sayona, Winsome Mining, Vision Lithium. There's several, Brunswick. There's a number of names that are really active in the area, and they've made some exciting discoveries. So, just again, last year we saw the opportunity. The deal was a company friendly deal. It didn't cost a lot of money or shares. Being as greenfield as it is, we just said, let's take a look. So what did we do last? We flew an airborne magnetic and radiometric survey over the entire property area. We just got the results of those in December, but I was really excited to get the team out there. We had a team of geos ready on standby in late October, early November. So we went out and did about a 2 to 3 week field program. We took 140 samples. We did some basic mapping and just got our, really boots on the ground, first pass program. So now, where are we now? Well, we're like most guys. You're waiting for your assays to come in. That's a couple of months. So this kind of knocks it down a little ways into April and March-April territory. But it gives us the time to sit back and review all of our LiDAR surveys, all of our mapping, all of our geophysics. And when the chemistry comes in from the samples, we'll be able to put this all together. And then bang, we're back out there in May, June of next year right away, and following up on any of our finds or close calls. So this is early stage, but an extremely exciting project. It's in the right jurisdiction. Its location next to Sayona Mining is extremely favorable for us. So we've got high hopes there at Clearcut.
Let's talk about your more advanced iron ore project known as Labrador West. From my understanding and going through the property's technical report, this project hosts a lot of high-grade iron and some good drill results back in 2021. Where is the project at right now, and what are the steps that iTide's taking to continue to advance and de-risk?
So just a quick correction there. The results were in 2020 and 2022. We didn't actually have a program in 21. So just minor thing like that. But you're 100% right. We had some stellar results. And we reported them starting probably around August, September, October. We put out the results of 7 drill holes. It was fantastic. So let's just talk about the project let's do a little bit of a step back on that one, because it's important. This is a former Rio Tinto project. They were Rio Tinto and Altius had a joint venture going back to 2010, 11, and 12. And Rio Tinto did $5 million worth of work on it. And then the price of iron went into the nuclear winter of 2014, 15, 16, 17. And basically they lost interest in the project, and they were more involved around their mine operation. So we are the adjacent project to the Carroll Lake mine, which is Rio Tinto, Mitsubishi, and Labrador Iron Ore Royalty Corporation. So this whole camp has actually got 4 operating mines, and we're adjacent to the biggest one, which is Rio Tinto. So this is one of their exploration projects. So it gave us the opportunity when we took the project over in 2019 and put it into the private company. And it's kind of a bit of a head scratcher story how we got this project. But uh, Rio Tinto failed to make a $1,000 claim renewal fee, and they lost the project. And it basically sat empty for open ground for months on end until it was restaked. And that's how I came across this project. So you know what, this is a lot of guys have done well following behind majors who have made similar mistakes, and I think that we've got an opportunity for one of them. But with all the data that they collected and produced from 20, if they liked it, they drilled it for 3 years straight, 10, 11, and 12. So that means they are on to something. I came along in 2020. We drilled 4 holes. We had a little break in the COVID window in the summer of that. We got in there with a drill. We did 4 holes. I twinned some of the historic holes. We got as good, if not better, results. So we came in 2022 when we went public. Remember, I said we went public in 2022. We went public, and bang, we hit it with 7 more holes, 2,300 meters. So now we've got the historic information that Rio did. Our information from 2020 and 2022 now have 7,500 meters. And here we are. We are literally now weeks away from a maiden resource. We are about to daylight a major new iron deposit in the southern Labrador Trough. There is nothing in the hands of a major that is, in another junior that comes close to what we are about to do. This is very significant. So, and this is just the beginning. You start by getting that resource. You start by looking at it, say, what do I do next? Do I drill it more? Do I do a PEA? These are decisions that we're going to be making in the next few several weeks to months. And then all of a sudden, this is what the majors are looking for. As I said, 93% of what was mined in the world in 2021 was iron ore. It's something that all the big companies are doing. This is there's all sorts of potential suitors, whether they be from within the camp or new to the camp. And I think one of the big changes that is coming, and this is what is really important for everyone to know, is that it's the quality of the iron ore concentrates or pellets that comes out of Canada, out of the Labrador Trough. This is the material that you can use for green iron or green steel. And this is where the industry is going. Now, if you couple that, and this is where your deep thinking has to take place, if you couple that with the changes that are being made to the North American Free Trade Agreement, and in particular to the auto industry, the amount of material that has to be North American is going up, and steel is going from 40% in 2024 to 70% in 2026. They're almost doubling the amount of steel input that has to be derived and mined in North America. So here we are really at the cusp of something special. And as you continue to develop a project, you look at what can the uses of this be. Yes, we can use it to feed the North American steel industry, European steel industry, the Asian, which is Korea, which is Japan, and China. So we're not dependent just on what China is doing. There is a big ecosystem that is in huge demand. And when I talk to some of the commodity traders who are interested in what we are doing and the area in which we're working, they said that you could double production tomorrow from the Labrador Trough, and we'd sell every single ton globally. So it is a huge advantage for us. We are essentially the only junior out there. We're going to have first mover advantage. We're going to have traction. We're going to have a brand new maiden resource, and this is for everybody listening, this is where we're at. We are so close to this. So big time.
Very exciting. Last
Yeah.
project in the mix, and one of my favorites, the Lac Pegma Project. Steve, tell us a little bit about this and what the steps are.
Yeah. One of my favorites too, as I mentioned earlier, I was there in 1996, and if you look at my deck, there's a picture of me there as a much younger version of me, probably about 40 pounds lighter too. But regardless, it's exciting. And this is magmatic sulfides: copper, nickel, cobalt. It's got a non 43 one, and so it's a historic. Somebody did it back of the envelope. They did the best practice at the time, but they had a 2 million ton deposit. 0.62% copper, 0.34% nickel, O3 cobalt, and there's a small zinc deposit about 1 kilometer to the north that's got half a dozen holes in it. What the hell's that thing doing there? So there's a ton of potential. So what we did in 2021 is that we went out there, we flew again another mag survey, and we had all sorts, mag and EM, electromagnet. We had all sorts of conductors pop up. So we immediately staked the entire area. So we've got a nice big footprint of the project, and we've got all sorts of targets. And we made new discoveries just around the known deposit. So, and all the drilling that was done in 1996, I drilled the first 24 holes. They drilled another, 36 holes. Every one of them was drilled short. Nobody pushed this thing to depth. Nobody sees whether or not this thing folds back on itself. There's so much potential on new targets and working around that. So very exciting. But I'm waiting for a permit from the government. But you know what? That's all you can do. You can do all the hard work you want, but you still need that permit to advance it. And there we are right there.
Let's switch focus a bit. You guys
Sure.
just finished doing a $1 million raise. How are these funds going to be spent?
Well, everything around a maiden resource and doing all of that and all the metallurgical work, that is all hard dollars. So what it was, there was a mix of flow through, Quebec flow through, national flow through, and hard dollars. So the hard dollars goes to just keep everything rolling along, keep the engineers and the geologists, fed and watered, so to speak. And then, the Quebec flow through, that's strictly for the lithium project. And the national flow through can be used on other things. And I think, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, there's other things going to be happening at some point in time. So this is just the beginning of the journey. As I said, this is, we still got that minty fresh kind of new feel to us. We're only 11 months old or less than that. We've got a lot of plans ahead. We've got solid projects, and I think we're just going to keep on this battery metals, critical metals, critical infrastructure metals. And I think that's what iron ore is. As I keep saying, 93% of everything that was mined in 2021 was iron ore. If that's not critical, nothing is. And that's kind of a key advantage for us, is that, we've got the frothy, sexy lithium, but at the, we're underpinned, going to buy a massive iron deposit close to infrastructure in safe and secure Canada. It's a great project portfolio.
For the investors that are listening right now, can you provide some details on the capital structure?
We're right now. We've got 77 million shares outstanding. I would say 42% of that 77 million is actually the float. The balance is all in escrow. And that means that companies like Avidian Gold, Altius, Farm Corporation, companies that were key on building up of this company, all the shares are in escrow at this point in time. There's a small float, as I said, around 40% odd. And that group is also friends and family and insiders. So there's no rush to the exits, for sure. We're gonna, there's no debt in the company. There's a little bit of cash. Where how it goes in this business. There's you always need dollars when you're a junior exploration company. But when you've got projects like you've got, and I said we're businessmen first. If there's a good offer on the table, bang, you hit that, and we'll do what we need to do with our projects and continue to drive value. Yeah, so that's kind of a quick snapshot on things right now, and it's that tight share structure that makes us a very compelling bid.
Steve, lastly, is there anything else people should know about High Tide before we wrap up?
I think I've just kind of laid all the cards on the table right there. I think we're in a good position for 2023, and there's some smart people. Check out the company, check out the board. There's some exceptionally talented people in the mining, exploration, iron ore space around the company, and a lot of experience. And I think that we're looking forward to a great 2023.
Thank you for your time, and I hope we can catch up again soon.
You will. Cheers.